Hey guys, today we're going to talk about solving a quadratic equation. Okay, so far we have graphed them. We've looked at their graph. Some of them are stretched, some of them are skinny, some of them go up, some of them go down. But today we're going to talk about the zeros or their roots. Okay, those are two words that you will hear. And if you see the word solving a quadratic equation, this is what we're going to do. Okay, so solving a quadratic is finding the roots or the zeros. Okay, that is where it crosses the x-axis. So this is one of them, this is the other one. Okay, so remember the roots or the zeros is where does it cross the x-axis. So x will be a number, it's when your y is 0. Okay, so let's make sense out of that. I'm going to show you two different methods today, and then we'll continue on tomorrow and next week of a couple different methods. Okay, so let's look at these examples that we have here. So if I ask for what are the solutions, remember that is where it crosses the x-axis. Okay, we have graphed here y equals x squared minus 1. Okay, so let's look at this compared to this. It says x squared minus 1 equals 0. You want 0 here. That's like having y there, okay, because you're trying to find the zeros. So you want it when it's equal, when y is actually 0. So we graph y equals x squared minus 1. So they've conveniently already graphed this for us. So our solutions are, where does it cross the x-axis? So it crosses at 1 and -1. So my two solutions are 1 and -1. Okay, so you can write that as 1 and -1 with a comma, or you can see how they wrote it as +1 or -1. Two different ways to write it. Okay, that is if there's two solutions. Sometimes, which a lot of the ones like the parent function, this happens to be the parent function here, only crosses the x-axis at one spot. Okay, so you could have one solution. So this solution where it crosses the x-axis is 0, so you could have 0. And we've also graphed some that are moved up. So will this one ever cross the x-axis? No. So this is a no solution because it never crosses. Okay, so we're going to go into your first foldable that you glued in. You should have one that says 2 solutions, 1 solution, and then no solution. Okay, so we're going to work these together. So how are we going to graph these? Okay, we graph these by doing a table, and we have to find the vertex and axis of symmetry first, remember. Okay, so let's find our axis of symmetry. So we have negative b over 2a, so negative over 2 times 1. That's negative. So my axis of symmetry is at -3. So we're going to go to -3. Please do this along with me. And that's where my axis of symmetry is at. Okay, second step, plug this in for x. Okay, so -3 squared is 9, plus 6 times -3 is -18, and plus 8. 9 plus -18, -9, plus 8 is -1. So my vertex is at -3, -1. Okay, so -3, negative. Okay, I'm going to erase that so that we can have some room here. All right, so now let's make our table. Oh man, I erased it. Okay. All right, so remember our table, the middle is at -3, -1. So we're going to go -2, -1, -4, -5. All right, so if we plug in -1, -1 times -1 is +1, plus 6 times -1 is -6, 1 minus 6 is -5, plus 8 is 3. Okay, plug in -2. -2 squared is 4. 6 times -2 is -12. -12 plus 4 is -8, and then plus 8 is 0. Okay, -4 squared is 16, plus 6 times -4 is -24. So we have 16 plus -24 is Negative 8 plus 8 is 0. And then we're going to use our trick that this goes up and back down. All right, so negative 1, 3. We're going to get a negative 1 up to 3. Negative 2, 0. We already have that one. Negative 4, 0. Negative 5, 3. Okay, so here's our graph. So where does it cross the x-axis? It crosses at negative 2 and negative 4, which you can also see here in your table. So my solutions are negative 2 and negative 4. Okay, so that's if there's two solutions, if it crosses twice. This is by graphing. Okay, all right, so let's go to the next one. We have x squared minus 6x plus 9. So we do negative b, so negative negative 6 makes that positive 6 over 2 times 1. So this is at 3. So my axis of symmetry is at positive 3 on this one. Okay, and if I plug that back in, we get 3 squared is 9 minus 6 times 3 is 18 plus 9. So 9 minus 18 is negative 9 plus 9, 0. Okay, so it's 3, 0 is my vertex. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do a table just to make sure. Usually when your vertex is there, that's going to be your only solution. We're going to check it just to make sure. I'm only going to do one above and one below to see our curve. Okay, you could also do 1 and 5 if you would like. Okay, so let's plug in 2. 2 squared is 4 minus 6 times 2. 4 minus 12 is negative 8 plus 9 is 1. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do 1. 1 squared is 1 minus 6 times 1 is 1 minus 6 is negative 5 plus 9 is 4. 4 squared is 16 minus 24 is negative 8 plus 9 is 1. So it does go back up. Okay, so we have 1, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 1. 4, 1, 5, 4. Okay, so there's our graph. Where does it cross the x-axis? It crosses at 3. So my 0 is x equals 3. Okay. All right. So that is if there's one solution. Notice here it crosses the x-axis in 2 different places, and here it only crosses in 1 place. Okay. All right, so let's go to example number 5. That is with 1 when there's only 0 solution. Okay, so negative b is negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2 over 2a, so 2 times 1. So it's 2 over 2, which is 1. So x equals 1. So we're going to go to 1 and put our axis of symmetry there. Okay, we're going to plug that back in. 1 squared is 1 minus 2 is negative 1 plus 3. Negative 1 plus 3 is 2. So my vertex is at 1, 2. So 1, 2 is my vertex. Okay, we're going to make our table. We have 1, 2 in the middle. So negative 1, 0, and then 2, and then 3. So 0 squared is 0. Negative 2 times 0 is 0, and then plus 3 is 3. Negative 1 squared is 1. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 3 more is 6. Okay. 2 squared is 4. Negative 2 times 2 is 4, negative 4. So 4 minus 4 is 0, plus 3 is 3. 3 squared is 9. Minus 2 times 3 is 6. 9 minus 6 is 3, plus 3 is 6. Okay, so we have negative 1, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0, 3. 2, 3, 3, 6. So you'll notice it hangs up here and it will never cross the x-axis. Okay, if it were to cross down here like this, it would never cross the x-axis. So this is a no solution. Okay, so those are 3 examples of graphing to find your solutions. Okay, so if you will, in your notes, I'm going to pause the video and let you go ahead and do examples 2, 3, 4, and 6 on your own, please. Okay, so hopefully you have graphed them and checked them, and these should be your answers. On example 2, you should have 2 and 6. Example number 4, you should have it crosses at 1. And then, of course, example number 6 doesn't cross, and that is a no solution. Okay, if there are problems, remember that these negatives on all of these makes them upside down, but remember you add that negative at the end. Okay, so don't forget to add that negative at the end. All right, so that was one method. You could do it by graphing. I will show you tomorrow how to do that on a calculator. You can graph it in your calculator and then go into calc like we have been and find the zeros. It's called zero on your calculator. There's a special little trick that you have to do, so I will show that to you tomorrow. I want you to practice first by doing it by hand. Okay, the other method I'm going to show you is square roots, and that will be in the next video.